Hey everyone, thanks for stopping through to Living to Do's Married at First Sight review, season 19, episodes 5 through 7. I'm so glad it's on Peacock. I'm really loving this format. Okay, so I'm going to touch on some of the key points on the episodes. So let's start with Jalen and Josh. This episode began with the couple still on their honeymoon in Panama. We see Jalen trying some things that she's never done before, like swimming in the ocean and getting over her fear. And of course, her husband, very supportive husband, Josh, is there. And we just see them just moving along like a normal, happy couple should. Looking at them, you wouldn't think that they just got married at first sight. Seems like they were dating before and spent time together and then decided to get married. That they look just normal. I think this is a great couple. I haven't seen many issues or any issues with this couple in the last 7 episodes. I think they have a real chance of making it. They seem real secure. Josh has a very good job. They both have a very supportive family. I hope they go the distance. And for Jalen, what a great life she's had her whole life. Her dad was the Major League Baseball player growing up, and so she had a privileged life. She had a lot of trips to Toys R Us, a lot of parties with ponies. Her parents gave her a good life. Josh, he has supportive grandparents. They showed love and affection towards him, and that I think that is going to carry over into his relationship with Jalen and their future children. Now, she didn't have that affection. She didn't see that affection between her parents, and that's something that's really important to her that she's going to incorporate into her married life, and they're going to show that towards their kids. When they get back home to Austin, Texas, we see the couple. They have already said, I love you to one another. She shares a big part of her life with him, which is cycling instructor. He took a class with her. He's all very much in good shape. Use the muscles that you don't normally use every day. So it was a little bit of a struggle for him. He made it through. We realized he's probably going to be sore in the morning, but he was a good sport. And he likes to see her in her element, which was great. This couple had a visit with Dr. Pia in their home. When she comes over, she's going to stir things up, even if things are fine, or she's still going to find something. So anyway, she has them play a game because they've never had an argument. And I don't know if she thinks that's great. Going to dig deeper into their relationship. And everything still went well. They asked some questions, they played a little game. Things went well. There was nothing to spotlight negatively on them. They're just doing well at this point. I hope it continues. Okay, so let's talk about her mother, which is Belinda, and Belinda's husband, Chad. Belinda and Chad. They had a conversation about romance and what it looks like to them. Belinda says that Belinda sees romance as affection and cuddling and kissing, and Chad sees romance as bringing flowers to his wife or mate and going out to dinner. Chad believes that Belinda balances him and makes him feel special. They were at dinner where they were discussing their feelings, and as he was talking, he slowed down a bit. I think he was just gathering his thoughts, but it seemed to take a long time, and you could hear production off to the side kind of speeding him up, and he confronted production, telling them to just let them talk, and it was the way he said it. Belinda's face changed, and she wasn't smiling anymore. I'm not sure if that was because of the edits, but her demeanor definitely changed after that. Chad wanted to leave the dinner. Before he left, production apologized to him. Later in bed, they talked about it, and Belinda thought that he was being disrespectful to production. She thinks and believes that It matters how you treat other people, not just her, but how you treat other people. And I totally agree with Belinda. If you're a type of person to speak out of turn or say things that are not warranted, especially in a negative way, or your tone is just unwarranted for the situation, it's very unattractive. Chad defended himself by saying that he wasn't being disrespectful, but he was just expressing his frustration, and he apologized to her for that. Belinda said when it comes to apologies, she doesn't get over them quickly. I can relate. I'm the same way. He grabbed her hand and she said she wanted to sleep on it, but then she started to cry a little bit. And she told him that she was afraid to stand up for herself because he might resent her for it. So I guess by telling him how he felt about the situation, maybe she felt uneasy about that, not knowing what he would say or how he would treat her after that. Quite honestly, I think it was a great lesson for Chad, letting him know that what he does and says to others, to people, can affect the other people around him. Once they got back home from their honeymoon, she brought over their dog, her dog Lovely, her dog Lovely. No, her dog Lovey. And Lovey, I don't know what type of dog it is, but it's a big dog, and apparently the dog barks at Chad. To look at Chad, you think he'd be kind of lazy. He has that big old pot belly, and he looks like he just drinks beer and whatever. But he brings his wife flowers. We see him bringing her flowers. He he was decorating their place a little bit. He put on a crawfish boil. I think that's a big activity down in that neck of the woods. He was doing all the work pretty much himself, cooking what needed to be cooked. He cooked for Belinda, and he also cooked for her daughter, Jalen, and her husband, Josh, and then Belinda's son also joined them. We could see them grubbing on the good food. He loved it. He likes cooking for people. Belinda can appreciate that. Chad goes over to, I think it was Derek's house. All the guys get together, and Chad said, let's all say something, a one word about our marriage or our wives. How would you describe it in one word? He ended up saying it's effing amazing. And they were drinking at Josh's house. After that, you see him going to his apartment. He's in the hallway dancing, having a good time all by himself. He gets into the apartment. He's dancing with his wife and kissing his wife. He just really, really seems to be happy. He's giving her compliments. He just says how much he loves her. I don't know how he was before he got married, but in this moment, he's truly happy. And I wonder if she's going to get tired of all this kissing and compliments. And I wonder if there's a different side of this guy that we haven't seen yet. Because the way he looks doesn't match how he acts. So I'm thinking, is the other shoe going to fall? And what are we going to see? Okay, enough of that couple. Let's go on to the next couple. The next couple is Rhonda and Pat. While Rhonda and Pat are still on their honeymoon, we see them taking a mixology class where you mix drinks together. And I've done that once out in Mexico. That was a good time. Pat told Rhonda about his prior relationship, which was 6 months prior to his married at first sight experience. And in that relationship, they were together for 3 years. Rhonda feels that he rushed into the married at first sight experiment. She thinks that he did it to get over the last relationship. I, at this point, don't see signs of that. They had a discussion, and she brought up the feeling of being smothered. Rhonda told him that I guess she doesn't feel smothered in the traditional sense that he was smothering her. She was saying it more like all this activity, all that's going on in her life, the marriage and moving in and all this stuff, it was a lot. I can understand that. It's just that life is just moving fast at the moment. Once they got back home to Austin, Texas, Rhonda showed Pat her home. I think she's been there for like 25 years and she remodeled it. She has a pool. It looks really, really nice. She has a nice remodeled kitchen, which includes Texas napkins, which are paper towels. She just has a really cute, fun personality for the most part. Now, they had a visitor from one of the experts, and their expert was Dr. Pia came to visit. Now, their topic of conversation in this meetup was something that Pat and Rhonda just previously discussed before she got there. Rhonda brought up that I believe it's her son or somebody knows about a bike group, people that ride their bicycles in a group, and there was a one that she's aware of. She doesn't have all the details about it, but she was telling this to Pat, and seemingly it looked like Pat took her advice and let her speak until she was finished, and then he had not heard of this group. I think he said he was going to check with a friend or whatnot. However, the conversation did not go the way Rhonda wanted it to go. In listening to the conversation, it just seemed like a normal conversation, but she brought up with Dr. Pia and Pat that he didn't inquire enough about what she was saying. And I thought maybe he didn't touch on it too much. He did listen. Rhonda, every conversation is not going to go your way. Rhonda bringing this up to Dr. Pia and making it a point of discussion, Pat didn't really know how she felt about him not inquiring about that particular conversation, and he voiced that he felt attacked. Rhonda, when she gets this feedback, she didn't take it as well as Pat takes her feedback, which was crazy. She shifted away from him in her seat. She even used cuss words in defense of herself. Rhonda then told Pat and Dr. Pia that she felt hurt. It was hurtful when he was explaining how he felt. She was so hurt that she started to cry, and I was confused by her behavior. If he's giving his opinion on how you made him feel, you have to accept it just the way he accepted it when you spoke up about how he made you feel in conversations of not being heard is what she thinks. Dr. Pia asked Pat, "What do you like about Rhonda?" And he said, "She's boisterous and she's direct." He feels that he can't really tell her things because she's going to get upset. And in my opinion, her crying in this moment because of this conversation is being manipulative, if you ask me, because I didn't think her crying was warranted in this situation. Though you can't tell a person how to feel, but if someone says something to you after you just told them how you feel, you just empty yourself onto them. When they begin to tell you how you made them feel and you cry, then you're controlling the situation. I mean, if it was crying was warranted, fine, but I see it as it's a way of her grooming him to treat her in the way that she wants to be treated, but that's not allowing him to communicate what he's going through. I swear, I just didn't understand her point of view. I really didn't think Pat did anything wrong. As much as I like Rhonda, I'm just not understanding her right now. After he said what he said, Rhonda said she felt unsafe. Again, I know you can't help how someone should feel. I just don't see how she could possibly feel unsafe. Said she needed time away. She went and walked the dogs. I really want to understand Rhonda right now. I'm just not getting it. I don't know. Okay, let's talk about the next couple, which is Megan and Derek. Honestly, I don't see these two making it, and it's all Megan's fault. We see them the morning after their spat. on their honeymoon after paddle boarding, and they seem to be connected. They were hanging on the hammock, and Megan says she's trying to be comfortable with the uncomfortableness. While on the hammock, they discuss having kids. Derek wants two, and she, two or three. She mentioned that she, I guess, saved her eggs, and that childbirth is, I guess, a little haunting to her. She's afraid of the pain. And then they're both 38. So if they're going to have kids, they really need to get on the ball, literally. You know what I liked about this episode? They showed some scenes where we see Megan's personality. She had a sense of humor. We see a little bit of that come out on with her. They had lunch together, and while at lunch, they had a discussion about Megan's dog, Zoe. Zoe sleeps in the bed with Megan, and it doesn't look like that's something Derek wanted to do. They get back to Austin, Texas, into their shared apartment. They're looking all around, and Derek mentioned that, he wants to clean it, the apartment when it needs to be cleaned with more natural products and not all those chemicals. And he mentioned that, vinegar is a really good product to use to clean up. I guess vinegar cleans just about anything. Megan says, ew, vinegar? I don't want my house smelling like vinegar. They're just not on the same page about most things. The dog sitter brought over Megan's dog, Zoe. And Zoe's a really cute dog. Megan is adamant that the dog will sleep in their bed. She says she doesn't want Derek to treat the dog like a stepchild. Derek asked if the dog would pee on the carpet, and Megan said she didn't know. If I didn't know better, I would think that Zoe is more than a support animal for Zoe. She seems to be an extension of Megan's very being. That's good. Megan should have an animal, a dog or a cat, because they don't talk back in any way. If anybody ever says anything to her, she blows up. You got to say things the way she wants to be said, even if it's unreasonable. The day after sleeping with the dog for the first time, it didn't go well for Derek. Derek didn't sleep, the dog was moving, and he was expected to walk the dog later. That's not something he really wanted to do. He didn't want all this responsibility to fall on him. And he brings this up with Megan, and she instantly got mad. At least the dog really likes Derek. To me, Megan is ultra sensitive, and I feel that Derek is a good communicator, but Megan's not receiving it at all. So they had a visit from one of the experts, Pastor Cal. He came over for a visit. Now, before he got there, Derek was really looking forward to Pastor Cal's visit. I think he wanted to share with Pastor Cal in front of Megan what's going on and to help their situation. Derek brings up the issue with the dog sleeping in their bed. Pastor Cal says that he wants them to communicate about it and don't run from conflict. He pointed out more of Derek running from it, but have you seen Megan? Megan gets so mad about everything. She just jumps up, runs into a room all the time. She's just very sensitive. Pastor Cal mentioned that being silent is a form of communication. It's telling the other person that you're not going to give them an opportunity to reach you, which makes that other person feel pain. Pastor Cal described it as scar tissue or having scar tissue, saying that disagreements and then recovery is building scar tissue. It's building strength in the relationship. He gave them tools to use in their communication. He told them to speak calmly, which I thought Derek did. Pastor Cal says it's also about tone. He says to have, reach out to one another with soft touches when speaking, acknowledging one another, and unfolding your arms when speaking, not to be so defensive. He had Derek say something to Megan. He wanted him to do, which I thought was perfectly fine what he said at first. But Megan sensed tone and just a lot of stuff. And then she turns to Pastor Cal, and he's like in agreement with Megan. So he has Derek try it again, and then it was insincere the way he did it. You could just see in his eyes he was getting frustrated with the two of them. I just don't think that Megan is going to be an effective communicator and not use the tools that were offered by Pastor Cal. She just seems very dry, and she seems like things have to be her way or the highway. Derek discussed with a friend about having kids. Actually, the friend brought it up. Later, he bringing it up to her, she gets mad. And I didn't understand why she's mad. He's talking to a friend about his relationship, but bringing this up created unsettling feelings for her. She's just upset that he had this discussion with a friend. During one of the episodes, the guys go over to Derek's house for a meetup, and the girls go over to someone else's house. I can't even remember who it was. But anyway, when Derek is talking to the fellas, he's talking about rough parts of their marriage that they're going through. He's just sharing a little bit. It's like an overview of what's going on. It was not a lot of detail in that. And he comes back to the house to talk to Megan. Now, when Megan was with the girls, she didn't share at all, hardly anything. Rhonda tried to get something out of her. Things are going fine, she says. She doesn't want to talk about it. She wants to keep people out of her relationship, which is fine, but you're on a relationship show. There's going to have to be discussion there. You just look like, I mean, no one's asking you for detail. You can just give an overview of what's happening in your world. They have a discussion, they carry on with their discussion, and Megan wanted to go, she goes into the bedroom and she wants him to follow her, and production is filming, and they close the door, but you can hear them. She's very upset. And I thought to myself, why is this guy, why would you want to stay in this? For the majority of the time spent together, she's been aloof or looked like it. She just is very sensitive. Every time you say something, it's a fight. I just really feel sorry for him. I just don't think this is going to work out. And if I were him, you can keep on trying a little bit longer, but they might not get to decision day the way she acts. Okay, last couple is Brittany and Will. The scene opens up with them, and Brittany has a stank face, and Will is asking her if she wanted to talk. This had her stank face and attitude has to do with the lack of intimacy on their honeymoon and the feeling of rejection. While they're having this discussion, I have to say, Will looked cute in his pink top. He just really looked cute. He's a nice looking man. She says that she didn't want to talk. Oh, she says that, I guess at some point she says that he didn't talk to her. He was distant, and the lack of intimacy made her feel rejected. However, we do see him often, kissing her. They went on a catamaran with the group. We saw him kissing her in front of the group. They went to these ruins, this thing, that the artifact, I don't know. It was this some rubble thing, and he was sitting down, he was wiping down some rubble so she could sit down. She re-wiped it. And I swear to God, I was so annoyed with her. Why do you do things like that? And it seems when he wants to be affectionate with her, it's not because of the cameras. It seems like he truly wants to. And he does like her. He's basically up for anything, but I guess the act of intercourse, he wants to take that slow. And she said to him basically what she heard during this time and what she felt. I have to say, Will is really growing on me a lot. I think he's nice looking. He has a decent job. He wants to be in a relationship. He is affectionate. Brittany, if anybody has scar tissues from past relationships not going right, it's her. Brittany said in the confessional that Will was unable to communicate and the honeymoon was not romantic and fun. But we see that Will, once again, he tries to reach for her, communicating with her. He gives her a big hug and a kiss, which was very sweet. He just asks that they give each other grace. Once back at home in Austin, Brittany took Will back to her home. She owns a home and it's really nice. He is the first man she's ever brought there into her space, and she was kind of in her feelings because he wasn't visibly excited about it. She thinks that if he wasn't excited about her and her place, that he wouldn't be invested in her. She might be all in your head. I don't know. He's not the type of guy to be jumping up and down. While in the house, he was helping her gather her things to take to the shared apartment. He made a comment about how many clothes she was taking to the new place, and Brittany just stood there. He knew something was wrong. And said she was just thinking. I'm thinking he noticed that she didn't like that. So he ran over to her, hugged her, and kissed her, and said he was just joking. This woman is ultra sensitive as well, and he seems to be an emotionalist guy, but he does show affection. Yeah, it's true. I don't think maybe not emotion, but affection. In their shared apartment, Pastor Cal came over, and in his discussion with them, Pastor Cal said that a man should care for her the way she needs to be cared for. So Pastor Cal said that she needs comfort and cover, which I'm guessing is reassurance. After that talk, Brittany did say that she would work on not internalizing everything and taking him for his word, or taking him at his word. While Pastor Cal was still there, we see Will reach for her again, pull her close to him on the couch, and she snuggled up to him. They look really cute together. I really hope they can make it. Later at dinner, he made dinner for him at home, and she was all up in his face to see what his reaction would be on her food. She really wanted him to like it, and he did, because that was really important to her. He had a business trip that he had to take off for, and he was going to be away for a couple of days. He did FaceTime her. We see him FaceTiming her, and she's just missing him, telling him how cute he is. She really likes him. So I'm seeing compliments coming from both. They seem to be really attractive, attracted to one another. I hope it's enough to make this relationship work. That was basically this episode. At this point, after episode 7, as a group they're getting along. Some of the couples are, Will and Brittany are getting along a little bit better that I can see. Hopefully it can stay that way. There's some work to be done for Derek and Megan, in my opinion, mainly on Megan's part. Also with Rhonda and Pat, I see where maybe Pat was over talking and not engaging so much in what Rhonda had to say, but now I'm seeing some red flags with Rhonda. She has some sensitive moments at times that I think are a little oversensitive. I don't know. Though I thought as a relationship show, this showed a lot of things that people can chat about. I thought it was a decent episode. So that's it for now. Thanks for staying with me to the end. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. And I thank you in advance. But I gotta go because I got living to do. Bye.